Good afternoon. My name is Marina Urbina, and this is my video submission for Diversity and Culture class. I had this whole thing recorded, and then I hit a button, and then it stopped recording. So most of this was already taken care of. So we're doing this again. Okay. Again, like I said, my name is Marina Urbina. First of all, I do want to start with talking about the recording form for comic books and electronic games. I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I get docked points for this. I have not read a comic book ever in my entire life. I don't even know where to find a comic book. And for electronic games, I don't play video games. I have not played video games in, I want to say, like over 20 years, somewhere around there. The last game I remember was like when I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, and I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I'll never forget that game. And it's, from what I do remember from that game, if anybody knows about that video game, it's that it's very child inappropriate, to say the least. There is a lot of violence. As far as leadership, I didn't see much, but then again, I only played that game as one of the characters and drove around the city running people over just to steal their money. Like, it was for my entertainment because I had nothing else to do. It was before I got a job, but my sister played it, and I guess there's actual missions that you try to get, and there's actual missions that you regarding gangs and stuff like that. I personally do not know. I have no idea. I just know that I only played it to kill other people and steal their money. I know that sounds really weird and almost psychopathic, but it was actually really funny. I know that sounds funny, but it really was funny just to, like, it's a video game, so it's not real. I'm not actually running around killing people now and stealing their money. That's not what I'm about. But when I was playing it, it was very entertaining, and it was funny because then you'd kill, like, other gang members, and you'd kill the opposite gang members, and then you'd kill, like, clowns. It was weird. There wasn't many, so you can always choose like a character that you could be in, but there wasn't much option to be a female character. It was mostly male characters. So, and I do not remember what that entailed or how you chose it. You just were a male character. So it was, as far as the races, there was a lot of mixture race. There was a lot of Caucasians, there was a lot of Hispanics, Mexican Americans, and African Americans. So they were pretty diverse when it came to their games and having people show up, and there was a lot of females in there, obviously. But as far as the main characters, it was pretty much more Latinos and African Americans than it was Caucasians. So it was pretty much driven on that. So I apologize, I do not have the info for this because the last thing I played for electronic games was Grand Theft Auto. I do not play video games. I do not have the time for video games. I am mostly too exhausted for that. So, P.S. I just want to know if this gives me extra credit. My dog just pooped in this office and I'm sniffing it as I'm recording this, so I'm trying to hold it in. But you should know. So, before I get to the main one for the primetime drama and commercials, I do want to talk about the newspaper stories, features, and magazines. I don't read the newspaper. I wish we still read the newspaper for anybody who did. I don't read the newspaper. I think it's a little more delayed on their news feed than it is anything else. So it's hard to keep up with the main events when the newspaper is kind of delayed. Most of the stuff that we get is off social media. So but I'm not a political person, so I don't watch the news. I don't listen to political podcasts. I do not watch any of that. So with that being said, the only magazine that I do purchase and I do read often, and I actually have a subscription for this, is the Food Network magazine. Yay! So there's many reasons why I do not like, really getting into politics. One is because, well, as you can tell, I'm in the Army, and I'm owned by the government, so I have to be really careful with what I say and what I do with them. So, like, I gotta be careful with what I say. Sorry, I'm moving my hands too much. I just gotta make sure that I'm in the right path. So that's one of the reasons. It's just you don't want to piss off your boss kind of thing. So as you can tell, my hair is still in a bun, and I did put on makeup so I don't look as disgusting as I feel. So I wanted to make sure if this was going to be put on video, I at least look decent. And as far as the form is asking what type of commentary it is, it's mostly positive. Come on, it's food, you know? Like, I just opened it up, I just randomly opened it up, and it's cupcakes, like, and they have a cupcake type of flavor for every month of the year, you know? So you have April, which is carrot walnut cupcakes. Yum. Like, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't that make anybody happy, unless you're allergic to walnuts, you know? So this is just beautiful. I obsessed, legit obsessed. Come on, how can you be angry at something like this? December, spiced cupcakes with sugared cranberries, and what's this? I can't read it. Apple pie cupcakes. Like, you know, you just get in a good mood when you open up this, and you just want to eat everything off of this. It just looks so delicious, and it looks like something you should try with your family, and work with it. And it tells you step-by-step instructions. They do advertise a few things on here, like Splenda. They do advertise HGTV and their magazine. Sometimes they have an advertisement for Corolla, but as you know, that anyways, so as you know, that's something that they get paid for. You know how advertisements work, that they get paid for to put a segment of their product into a magazine which they know someone's going to purchase or buy, and they're going to see it, and it makes it even better if they use that product in their recipe, so that way that makes sure that you go and get that product. So it's actually very genius, if I do say so. As far as diversity between this, I am obsessed with the Food Network, so I know pretty much most of the chefs. I aspire to be a chef at some point in my life, one day. Most of the chefs on here are Caucasian. Very few are African American, and there's one Middle Easterner. But their advertisements on this, it's mostly like with the last page being, you know, Martha Stewart, who doesn't know her, and then someone who she works with. I don't know who that is, but they're advertising her cookware, so they're trying to show diversity. But for the most part, most of these chefs are Caucasians. They're trying to build up the diversity program when it comes to them. They're trying to build their diversity group, I guess, in a way. I think they're trying to get more chefs to be a little bit more diverse than what they have now. They do have a decent amount of chefs, but it's mostly Caucasian. It is overruled Caucasians, but the foods that they make is inspired from all over the world. They have a Middle Easterner, Manit Chauhan, who is a Middle Eastern chef who knows all about spices, so they do learn a lot from her. So they are progressing, and I do love that. And also I do love that it's not political, so there's that. So the last thing that I do want to talk about is, where's my form? I'm sorry, I just had it here. Oh, here it is. There's my other form. So I do want to talk about this right now. I never watch primetime TV. I do not watch it at all. I do not watch CSI or Criminal Minds or anything along those lines. I don't watch it. I mostly watch movies and the Food Network. It's the only TV show I watch. I do not watch reality TV. I don't watch anything regarding that. So with that being said, in order for me to do this assignment, I did turn on the TV, and I just went to something that would normally be on during this time, and I kind of just guessed. I was hoping I was getting it right. And what I chose at 3:20 was Criminal Minds, and I don't know if you've heard of it, but apparently it's a show where it's based on FBI agents who try to catch criminals for the basic part, and it takes you through the whole process of what they did to find out who the criminal was, where he was going to strike next, why, And just this whole thing was just horrifying for me personally, because as a parent, I'm one of your worst fears is like anything happening to your kid, and that's what this was. But it was kind of in reverse. The criminal had a serious, very very serious like um, history when it came to his relationship with his mother. His mother forced him to, I guess his mom was a prostitute or something like that, and his mother would force the killer when he was young, force him into the closet, and she would leave like a little bit open so that he would watch the bad things that was happening to her. And then he actually ended up killing his mom and his quote unquote dad. By the age of 13, went to jail, but for 26 years he was killing people and then having their children watch them. And he only did it in the dark because when his mother shoved him in the corner into the closet in the dark so that he's not seen, then obviously. But he only attacked families or single mothers, someone who already had children. So this was awful. This was really crappy. I don't watch that stuff, so to be honest. It's reality TV. I don't know what I need to say much about this. The main characters were mostly Caucasians, except for one FBI agent who was African American. They did have like Asian. I want to say that loosely because I don't know their ethnic background. They could be Filipinos, but they just different had. It wasn't just Caucasians, but they used them as extras. They used them as police officers or just someone who was letting someone inside the building. It wasn't someone who had an actual role or a main character. So there's not much diverse there. Most of the investigators were Caucasian as well. There's not much for this one. Even the killer was Caucasian. The only thing that I was thrown off about this is that the criminal, the killer, abducts this little girl who he was actually targeting to kidnap, and so he did that, killed the father of the little girl who was an FBI agent that just so happened to be the FBI agent that worked at the same company, whatever. And the daughter couldn't have been any older than 12 years old, I want to say she's between like 10 to 12 years old, so that's what she looked like. But you could easily tell how scripted it was, because no 10 to 12 year old would outsmart a criminal like that, because she didn't show any fear, like hardly any of it. I know if I was that age, I would be like just horrified and just literally scared to death. So she didn't show hardly any fear, so I don't know if it was the casting of the little girl or just her script, but she didn't show any fear. She showed more bravery than anything, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good, it's just it's not common. I know that my daughter is turning 9, and I know if she was in a situation like that, God forbid, she would not behave that way, even though I do think she has very much lots of common sense for a 9-year-old. But that little girl didn't play the part as well as I thought it would, just because it didn't seem realistic. So I know it's TV, yes, I do know that, but that being said, if they're gonna make it like a little bit realistic, that the little girl should at least showed some fear, but I guess not. So during this time there was a lot of commercials. I actually tried, sorry, I'm gonna try to get rid of that light. I try to get as much as I can out of it. There was so many and they're so fast, so I got a lot of it. There was a lot of repeat commercials, so I didn't write those down. Commercials like Taco Bell, there was a repeat on that one. There was a repeat on HelloFresh. There was one that I did have to write down that I made sure, because I made sure to listen to the commercials as they went on, because I kind of ran out of space on my paper. But there was one, is the commercials where they advertise medication, which is not usually FDA approved. You're not going to find FDA approved commercials often. Still don't know why. That just boggles my mind a little bit that they will advertise non-FDA approved medications, but medications that are FDA approved you hardly hear of. You only hear of like NyQuil that is FDA approved to be used for congestion and flu-like symptoms and cough and all that stuff, which it does work. So, but that's very few. You don't hear like, oh, you have nausea, take Zofran. You'll hear maybe a little bit of Pepto-Bismol, but for the most part, like if you really pay attention, there's mostly non-FDA approved medications being advertised, and there are actual FDA approved medications. So it throws me off a little bit, but there was a migraine medication that they were advertising called, I forgot how they pronounced it, so I'm gonna try to pronounce it this time. Aimovig, Aimovig, and it's supposed to reduce migraines for people who have migraines 2 to 3 times a week, like that severe. And so it's supposed to reduce it to 2 to 3 times a month. So this migraine medication is supposed to reduce whatever it is causing your migraines, and so just you take it and you'll feel better, and you hardly will get any. So apparently that's the thing. But I don't know about you, but I always pay attention to the side effects. I'm trying to go to school to be in medicine, and my fiance is actually a combat medic, and so we actually were one of those weird people who pay attention to the side effects. And this one had rash, swelling, severe constipation, high blood pressure, and if you already have high blood pressure, it'll permanently keep you at high blood pressure. Now let me tell you, high blood pressure is no joke, so you should not think of it as like, oh, it's just high blood pressure. And if you're taking medication that is keeping you at high blood pressure, you're going to exhaust your heart, and that is very dangerous. So, and also injection sites, so you could have a reaction at the injection sites. So apparently this is a migraine medication that you inject in your body. So I, for one, it's a no for me. I personally don't get migraines that much, but this is a no. Like, no. And there's a few other ones too that are like, oh, possible heart attack or stroke, and like, why would you take that medication if that's the side effect is heart attack or stroke? That's ridiculous. Like, you're just hurting yourself for possible relief. No. Some other type of ads and commercials were Skechers, eye drops, Lumity, I can't pronounce it, Lumity, eye drops, and York peppermint patties, the Rolo candies, Glade candles, Knorr sides, Carvana, Church's chicken, Dish Anywhere app. I did notice that a bunch of these, with the exception, I think 5, and if I remember correctly, I think it was, I'm sorry, Life After Lockup, which is a series, had a very diverse group. The majority of these were just all-American family around the table, or little kids, Caucasian little kids. There wasn't much about like diversity on these, if we're really like being real. There is a commercial that for the app TikTok that they use all kinds of people. They use every single person. I don't know if you've heard of it, I don't know if you've seen the commercial, but it just takes every diverse group and it actually puts it in the commercial, like culture or diversity starts here on TikTok. It's so weird because the images are from like different kinds of people, shapes, colors, foreign backgrounds, and it combines them all together. So it's an interesting commercial because they're claiming that diversity starts at TikTok, and I don't buy that. So but yeah, that is my video submission for this class. I hope you enjoyed it. I apologize for the messy office because I haven't had the chance to clean it up. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and stay safe. Bye. Damn, I already messed up.